What's up, guys? Welcome to episode 4 of the 66 Mustang project. So in this week's episode, you're going to be seeing a lot of old footage that Mark shot, I don't know, probably a month or two ago that we just never got around to posting because of how well the Solstice project was doing on YouTube. So if you see or hear things that are talked about for the Solstice project, seeing things about being painted or whatever, then that's just because this is older footage and nothing happened to the Solstice. It's fine. So enjoy this week's video. Thanks for watching.
I'm back working on the 66 today, so I'm waiting on Solstice stuff to get done at the paint shop. So I think I'm going to do a little sandblasting today. I'm going to have these pulleys, fan belt stuff. I'm going to go ahead and put them in the blaster, and I'll try to get some video of me blasting them. I'm not sure how well I'll be able to see it through the glass, but I'm going to blast that and the old smog pump bracket, the oil pan, and then some brackets. I think that one bracket off the alternator, and I think that's about it really on the sandblasting in the cabinet anyway. And I still got more cleaning to do on the engine, get more paint off. I'm gonna try this little brush I've got here. I'll try that later, and then I've also got to get the car out, and I'm going to try to pressure wash a bunch of the grease and stuff off in there and let it be drying until after I get the engine painted.
Hey guys, Andy here back in the editing office. And now there's no sound or anything for these sandblasting clips, but I don't want to rob you guys of the experience of actually being there, so I'm going to try my best to replicate it based off of what I know so far from millions and millions of hours of watching Dad do this.
2 hours later. 6 hours later.
Here's where I am so far on this pulley. I guess there's the different colors of paint that are on there. I guess the red was from overspray when they painted the car at one point. And the blue is probably overspray when they painted the engine at one point. And unless they had this pulley blue originally, I need to look up in the book and see what this is supposed to be. I thought they were supposed to be black, but I'll check some more and find out. I just thought that was interesting, the different colors. While I'm taking a break from sandblasting, is I'm going to go ahead and strip down this engine bay. I've got a pressure washer here, so I'm going to go ahead and get the wiring, anything that needs to be off so I can get it cleaner. I'll go ahead and take off probably the voltage regulator down there, and just try to get all the wires off of it. So anything that I can get off that I won't have to tape when I get ready to paint, the better. So I think this thing is stripped enough to pressure wash it. Got everything that I worried about getting water in, taped up or put bags over. So I'm gonna pull it out and wash away. it is after it's been washed, and went ahead and had to wash the whole rest of the thing because I blew grease all over everything. So the grease is, almost all the grease is gone. That's kind of a bad area back in there. I have to do a lot of scraping, and it's just got a lot of bubbled up paint because at one time there must have been a brake fluid leak, and man, you know how that eats up paint. So it's going to take some elbow grease back there, and everything else is pretty clean. It's going to be a lot of scuffing and just getting everything smooth for paint. This area right here, somebody has patched that in a bad way underneath the battery box. So I guess I'm probably going to grind that off and see what's underneath it and try to fix it right since I'm this far. So that'll take some time. Other than that, that part's finished. Check it out. Here's the harmonic balancer off the 66, the original Ford one. In all these years I've been setting the timing on those things. I thought those lines were in 2-degree increments. Look at that, 3, 6, 9, 12. There's top dead center. There's so much paint and gunk on it. I always just thought they were 2 degrees, so I've always been setting my timing off a little bit. So, learned something tonight. So here we are back working on the 66. I'm getting ready to do some more sandblasting today. As I'm getting ready to look through my parts. Check it out. Little baby coming up next to the house here, eating some grass. So before I can sandblast my cabinet, gloves in my cabinet are shot. You can see holes through. That's why I have sand all over the floor. So first thing I got to do is work on this cabinet. I got some new gloves. I got to get those installed. So we'll do that, and then we'll sandblast. Got the battery tray still to do, the oil pan, and an alternator bracket, I think. And then that should be it on the sandblasting. Then we can actually start doing some painting.
And now, more sandblasting.
Working on this battery tray. Kind of reminds me of what's the difference between working on old cars and new cars. For example, like the 13 Mustang and the Solstice. Those cars are just wrecked and they're clean and neat. You just take apart the bad pieces that are bent, take them off, and put new pieces on just to replace it. And you got a car that's all clean and neat and new. Working on old cars, this is what you run into. Okay, you take a part off and it's rusty. Like, look how crusty this thing is. So you've got to take it off, sandblast it, paint it, you know, pretty much restore each individual part, and then put it all back together to get a nice car. So it just takes so much longer. You know, you got all these little pieces and parts, which you don't usually have that much stuff on a new car that you're rebuilding. And then anything that just doesn't look right, like I had to sandblast every little piece. I'll have to go through and wire brush this alternator and get it all looking right. It just reminds me, that's kind of where my background is in old cars. The first car I ever bought was a 66 Triumph Spitfire. This piece right here is all that's left of it. I saved it because I was most proud of that spot. That's the very front nose of the hood, and that's what it looked like when I got it. It was just beat to death, smashed. I cut it out and fabricated a new piece of metal to match that and welded it back in. And when it got done, you could not tell that it had ever been wrecked. It was when I got it out of the guy's shop, got it home, I pulled the carpet up out of the floor, and there was the ground. You could just see right through it. There was no floorboards, nothing. So here's a picture of what it looked like when I got finished. And it was 5 years worth of work. It's just me getting started in the hobby and learning as I went. That's how I learned to weld, how I learned to do all sorts of stuff. And I just figured out that you gotta just try it to learn. The best thing for me to do was to try with a cheap car, which that Spitfire was, but that's what got me enough money I made off of it to get into this 66 Mustang along with another car. And here's some pictures of what the Spitfire looked like when I got it. And how far down I had to take it, all the way down to every nut and bolt almost off of it. The frame had to be twisted and straightened, which I didn't have anybody do that, so I did it the old-fashioned way, stuck it between two trees and a pole and twisted it till I got it all straight, built it all back up to new condition. And that's just how I learned. So here's a picture of it after it was finished. Got to put it on the cover of a parts catalog, and so that's what got me interested in the hobby. Well, I finally have all this stuff ready to paint. Got it all sandblasted. Doesn't look like very much, but that took a very long time. Sandblast is so tedious. It just takes forever to get every little bitty tiny piece of paint off. So got the battery tray, oil pan. That oil pan, I think the only thing I've got here that's going to be blue is the oil pan. Everything else will be black. So I'm going to clean this stuff up. It's got all the kind of residue from sandblasting on it, like the dust and all that. So I'm going to go outside, blow it all off, and then wipe it down with wax and grease remover and get it ready to hang it up and get ready to paint it. Welcome to the hanging gardens of Mustangalon. Here they all are, hanging up. Still got to get them clean, and then I'll be ready to paint them. Okay, now everything's nice and clean. Time to start priming. Should do 2 coats of primer, I think, and 2 coats of black. Okay, here they are all painted. Harmonic balancer, fan blade, alternator bracket, smog bracket, and all the pulleys, battery tray, or brackets. So we'll let that dry overnight, and tomorrow we'll get all that down, and then we'll get the oil pan over here and get it painted. And then it is back to this. Have to try to get that the rest of the way sanded down, ground down, and try to get as much paint off as possible, and tape it up, get it painted. Okay, I've got the oil pan ready to paint. It's all clean. Had to weld up a couple little cracks on one side, which is no big deal. Not in the actual pan down below, but right here in this corner is on both sides. Had little cracks. So welded that, and now it is ready to paint. Okay guys, that's all the time we've got for this week, so make sure you subscribe and turn on those post notifications, and we will see you next week.
Do you have any questions about this week's video? Do you have an answer to one of the questions we asked? Leave a comment down below, and always remember, don't retire it if you can rebuild it. See you guys next week. After this video, make sure to check us out on Instagram, where we post behind the scenes photos, sneak peeks, giveaways, and information for future projects. Thanks so much guys for tuning in and watching this week's episode of Rebuild It. Make sure you subscribe so you don't miss out on any awesome content. Have a good one.